How y'all doing again? Uh, I just bought myself another 1932 Nash. It's very similar to the other car that I have. It looks like it might have been a car with some more options than the other one had, as far as like this one has side mounts and wire wheels, and the other one, of course, has wooden wheels. So maybe I'll feel a little safer going down the road at 50 miles an hour in this than I would in the other one. It's a good thing not to worry about the wheels, you know. But let me give you a little tour. All right, here we are. This is the engine out of the Nash. It's been rebuilt, and it is one heavy sucker. You can see I took all the straps I had in the back of my truck and put on this to lift it. There's no good place to put a chain, so this is the only thing I could do. Is I thought this would be okay, but I was a little worried about these straps giving up because this is a heavy guy, pretty daggone heavy, and it seemed to work okay. So it's all right. Let me give you a tour. I got this late last night. It was about 6 o'clock and it was dark because this is right at the beginning of winter now. And it's cold, and the people come from upstate New York all the way up next to Maine, or Canada, up towards Canada, and delivered it for me. So they were tired and they wanted to get out of here. So let me give you a quick tour. I have not done anything to this car, pulled anything out of it, looked through any of the boxes, so I have no idea what's here. I'm hoping everything is here because they said it was, but you know how that goes. So it's like I said, it's a side mount car, which is pretty neat. I always like the side mount cars. And you can see she's full of boxes and all sorts of stuff. Just pile everything inside the car. I have a feeling that I'm hoping anything that is missing is not critical. That I can either make it, fabricate it, maybe find it, maybe. But I sort of doubt that I can find anything on the internet on these. The interior seems to be in good shape. At least it's a lot better shape than the interior on the other car. So I am going to try my hand at doing some of this interior if I can find the material, because there are some places that are messed up and I like to correct them. There's a rip in the back seat, and I think there's a rip over here, and the headliner on this one side is falling down where apparently it got a rat nest in it right up there. It's pretty dark in here, so it's really hard to see. But the rest of the car looks pretty daggone complete and nice. The dashboard looks really good. The steering wheel, I'm going to have to take the steering wheel off and work on it. It's got a big old booger there, and I believe it's got a crack in it somewhere. So yeah, right there. So I'm going to have to do something about that. But I've fixed 2 of them so far, and they came out sort of okay. I did not want to do any more steering wheels, but I've got to do this one. Everything looks to be good. The overhead is out of it, of course, just like the other one. And it's got a couple of little bad places where the wood's bad right there. I've got to fix. And I believe it's got one on the other side also. But other than that, it doesn't look bad. I don't see anything that's too oofy and scary. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the paint is flaking real bad on the wheel covers. And everything else is just dirty, real dirty. So I am sure I'm going to have to touch it up. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Because what I'd like to do is turn it into a old restore job appearance. I don't want it to be too nice, but I don't want it to be beat up neither. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to try my hand at maybe matching some of the paint problems. It looks like they're just sort of here and there, and the rest of the paint looks to be somewhat okay. Projects like this are a little scary sometimes, because this is one of those kind of cars that if you're missing big items, they can get real crazy to try to find if it's something you can't make. So that's the problem with doing a car like this. Nashes, I'm sure, aren't readily available. There's not a lot of these around, I don't think. Not from what the Nash Club tells me. But we're going to see. I don't have any idea. I'm just doing inventory on it and see how scary it looks. The chrome on this car, somebody's done some chroming, and it looks pretty daggone good at first glance. We'll have to see how it really is when I blow the junk off of it. But tail lights, all that stuff looks good. It looks like it had some kind of luggage rack on it once. That's what this chrome arm is. Of course, it isn't here. But, it'd be nice, but I don't know if I could even find that. We'll have to wait and see. And it's got the lock and gas cap, which is something we're going to get rid of. Because if you want to steal some fuel out of this, go ahead. I don't care. Let me see. That's about all I can show you until I get all these parts out and put on the table. Yeah, you can see they're just loaded up. That's part of the old engine. That's all the valves and valve springs and valve guides in that box right there. So they've at least done that. And yeah, so and that's the headlights in that big box. So let me show you the 34 Chevy truck, because I finally painted that. We'll get off track here a little bit, but I might as well show you that. Oh lordy, bugs taste good. I put the engine in just yesterday, and had to make rear motor mounts for it because they're just not available. And so I had some old shock mounts that I kept, so I went ahead and made them out of that. And they look like they're going to do just fine. The paint is, I would say, middle of the road as far as the paint job goes. It's shiny here and there, and some places it isn't. I'm going to see if I can touch it up, but I'm going to have to take it outside to do it, because the visibility in here is, as far as it being dark for painting, is absolutely terrible. I cheated on the bodywork a little bit, because the bodywork, I figured I'm going to spend my life on this thing trying to make it really nice, and there's really no reason to make something. I'm not making a show truck out of it. I'm just making a really good truck, or an okay truck to drive. So there are places in it that I could have done a lot better job on the body work. And of course the paint job is, if I had to say anything, I'd say the paint job is poor. Because there's shiny places, and then there's places where it's almost not enough paint. And then over here on one of the doors, I did the typical thing where I had just a little bit of paint in the gun, and I said, I don't hate to throw it away. So I sprayed the side of the door over here, and I got a run in it when I shouldn't have done that. But overall, I think I can fix some of the horrible places on it. But like I said, I can't do it in here because it's just too dark. And of course, it was tough to paint the roof. I put this thing right on the ground. The frame sat it right on the ground, and it still wasn't enough room to paint the roof. So I had to use the gun sort of sideways when I was painting it. Just rake it back, and that's not the way to paint something, and paint sort of just flowed out. And the roof, I think, looks pretty decent because I probably got a lot more paint on it, and it was a flat surface. Of course, I had a bumblebee, that came in and decided to take a walk on the roof while the paint was wet. So I just sort of plucked him off, but I mean, it left a booger up there. But we'll have to deal with that when I get it outside. I'm just not going to fool with it now. I'm going to put this thing together and paint the rest of the parts with a rag and just let her go. Because it's I've been painting things with base coat, clear coat, and I use single stage on this because of the cost. Paint is just getting so expensive now that I just didn't think I wanted to spend $600 for paint for this. So it cost me $300, half the cost, but the paint is, for me to do it, is unforgiving. I'm sure I can work with it and make something out of it, but I'm not familiar with this kind of paint. You just put it on and that's pretty much it. They say you can sand it and buff it. I have not tried to do that. So, and that's what I normally do with base coat, clear coat, but I really didn't. I knew the body work was going to be just borderline okay, so I figured why go through the expense and try to make this thing super shiny when it doesn't need to be. Like I said, it's just going to be a really nice truck, with an okay paint job, an okay body work, because there's no rust in it. So it'll be all right. It'll have to be all right. Get this done and move on. I'm not going to die working on a friggin' car. All right. Well, this is the Model A that I never got painted this summer. It got so hot that I couldn't stand it, and I lost 2 months out here because it was the thermometer in the ceiling said it was 140 degrees, and I figured I don't want to go out there when it's like that. So I didn't get it painted, but I did get it sanded, primed and sanded, and it is ready to be painted if I wanted to paint it. But right now it's 38 degrees, and I have lost my window on paint and stuff in this garage. So I think I'm just going to cover it up real good, because I am going to cover it this time. I didn't have it covered for all summer. So I'm going to cover it real good and just leave it until spring, I guess, when I get everything else a little further down the road as far as getting it done. All right, well, that's all we are looking at right now. I will, let's see, I will take everything out of the boxes in here, and I'll give you another look at all the parts, and we can see what's here and what isn't. I'm not looking forward to that because I don't want to see any parts not here. But until then, I'll see you later. Bye.